A woman is tidying up an unconscious young girl. She washes her, dresses her, combs her hair, applies makeup, and puts her to bed. Soon, the girl regains consciousness and, opening her eyes, sees a young man in front of her. He introduces himself as Spencer, and after asking a voice assistant to play their song, pours her some wine, convincing her that she loves him. The girl believes him but feels nothing. When Spencer hears her say she doesn't remember their first meeting, he suddenly attacks her and strangles her to death. Then he drags her body to a metal box behind the house. That moment, his mother arrives. Dr. Victoria Harris, a geneticist. She asks her son to describe his feelings, and after retrieving a notebook, he heads to his room. Victoria goes to the lab, where her son later drops off the notebook with his descriptions of the emotions he felt during the murder. Her reading is interrupted by a call from Parker. Victoria answers, finding herself in virtual reality where a man familiar with her problems greets her. Victoria complains that she's trying to help her son, but he doesn't appreciate it and does nothing to ease her efforts. She's terrified that he might be taken away from her, but she doesn't know what to do next. Parker suggests documenting Spencer's actions for analysis, but Victoria fears creating evidence. Then Parker proposes a broadcast to know for sure. Later, Victoria pulls an exact copy of the girl killed that morning from a vat of black liquid. She washes her, tidies her up, and sends her to bed where Spencer finds her. Everything repeats itself, despite Spencer now noticing a camera in the corner of the room. Even knowing he's being watched, he kills the girl and drags her to the metal box. He then recalls their first meeting. He was walking around the area when he saw a man drop her off from his car and drive away, even though there were no roads or phones nearby. He approached her but got a message that his mother was looking for him. Spencer promised to return before sunset and called out to the girl. He told her there were only a couple of houses nearby, one belonging to his mother. The girl asks for temporary shelter, introducing herself as Ashley. In the present, Spencer tells his mother that with each killing it helps less and less to relieve the tension, as the clone feels artificial. Victoria reminds him that this is the fourth attempt and that she's trying hard because she's terrified of losing her son. Later, she contacts Parker, and he harshly points out that she has become an accomplice in her son's crimes. She reminds him that he is responsible too as a father. Victoria now intends to work longer on the next clone, hoping to make it as human-like as possible. She hopes that then Spencer will be able to endure long breaks between killings and not pose a danger to the outside world. She plans to give the clone more attention, though her company desperately needs her as they are about to release grown organs for transplantation. Victoria creates the next clone but tells her son that Ashley will live in her room for now. Spencer calmly agrees and sits down to draw. Later he sees the girl, but Victoria closes the doors. Spencer goes to the desert and upon seeing ants draws them over Ashley's face. Later, he suddenly sees a car at the neighbor's house. Marissa has arrived at her parents' vacant house to rest after studying. The girl, a future lawyer, is interested in art. She asks him for help with her luggage and Spencer obliges. That evening, Marissa comes to Victoria's house to thank them with cookies. Victoria is worried, but her son doesn't understand what he did wrong. Victoria contacts Parker and tells him everything. Parker laments that they couldn't hide Spencer from the world. Victoria shares her decision to show the clone selective memories from her past life, hoping she'll feel more real. The next day, Spencer visits Marissa and gives her a portrait of herself, which astonishes her. She even shares plans to get a tattoo on her neck, which excites Spencer, but he holds himself back. That evening, he tells his mother about it, and she promises to prepare the clone for the next day. He recalls the first time he brought Ashley home. The girl went to the bathroom, took some illegal substances, had a sip of alcohol, and asked to play a particular song before behaving recklessly. In the present, Victoria tells Ashley's clone about her son, who supposedly found her after an accident, and advises her to talk to him about art. She brings Ashley to Spencer's room, where he offers her alcohol and plays their song. The girl looks at his drawings, which she finds excellent. But when she sees her own face, she becomes scared. Spencer kills her then. Victoria listens to the terrifying sounds behind the door, waiting for it all to end. Afterwards, Spencer says that although it wasn't real, he feels better. He hugs his mother, which later surprises Parker greatly, as Spencer hadn't allowed physical contact for many years. Victoria is encouraged, hoping this might lead to a breakthrough in regulating human behavioral therapy. If everything goes well, Spencer could live among people, returning to his mother only occasionally for a dose. The next morning, Marissa invites Spencer to a new exhibition in a nearby town, saying he's an artist. The girl runs off, and Spencer recalls how Ashley examined his works. He noticed an Ouroboros tattoo on her arm, and when she hinted at possible intimacy, he suddenly attacked her. Sometime later, another clone emerges from the black vat. Victoria tidies her up again and asks her son to wait longer. This time, the clone will become more like a real person, and the pauses between his madness will be longer. Later, she tells Ashley that she was in an accident. Spencer found her, and now Victoria is healing her. Although Ashley doesn't remember where her home is, she will recover soon. Victoria takes Ashley for a walk and shows her a video of Spencer as a child with his dog. Then she shows her the dog's grave, which supposedly died in a car accident. There's another similar grave nearby, and Ashley wonders why the dogs died so often. Victoria explains that everyone dies in this world. Ashley will too. Spencer watches them and remembers how, after his first murder, his mother hit him in the face when she saw the body. But upon learning no one knew about the girl, she immediately devised what to do next. In the present, Marissa and Spencer attend the exhibition, and he admits he was homeschool. Fact is, in elementary school, he accidentally killed a classmate by pushing her off a hill. Marissa consoles him, saying he was just a child back then. She shows him his drawing displayed in the gallery, assuring him he's a real artist and should keep drawing. Meanwhile, Victoria discovers that her son is not home. Later, Marissa drives Spencer home and sees Ashley's silhouette in the window. His mother meets him with reproach. She saw Marissa's drawings and is deeply worried, while Victoria scolds him for disobedience. Ashley overhears it. The girl freshens up, remembering the black vat and how they cleaned her afterward. Then she recalls hands on her neck and the terror of something chasing her. In the morning, Victoria finds Ashley on the porch. Ashley admits to remembering some horrors and recounts her visions. Victoria realizes that the clone is awakening memories from her original, but she asks Ashley to think of it as a dream. She explains that Spencer is very shy, which is why he hides from her. But he was the one who saved her. They just need to wait. Later, Victoria contacts Parker and tells him what happened. She's sure Ashley is remembering herself. Maybe she made some mistakes, or perhaps it's DNA memory, or maybe God is punishing them for the murders. This never happened before. So the clone isn't just a copy after all. Still, she's ready to give her to her son. Parker apologizes for not being with them, and Victoria disconnects. That evening, Ashley enters Spencer's room where everything feels familiar. She notices the remaining bloodstains under the rug and examines drawings of her face. The girl steals the sketchbook and returns to her room, where Victoria soon arrives. She reassures Ashley, promising that it will all end soon. Later, she talks with her son about Ashley, and he refuses to continue the experiment. He no longer wants to kill the clone. His mother reminds him of his childhood cruelty and how no doctor could help him. She warns him against killing Marissa. At that moment, Marissa approaches Victoria's house and sees her with Ashley, tending to the flowers. She secretly snaps a photo of the pair and runs away. Sometime later, Victoria gets a call from her company demanding her presence at a shareholders' meeting. She tells Spencer that she's leaving and that Ashley will be locked in her room for now. Ashley doesn't like this, but can't do anything about it. Meanwhile, Marissa finds Ashley's photo online and discovers that she's wanted for robbery and fraud. Meanwhile, Victoria arrives at the office as Spencer receives a message from Marissa saying he must learn the truth about the girl in their house. The same message is sent to Victoria's device, and despite her issues with management, she heads home. The same time, Marissa arrives. She explains to Spencer that she's worried about him because Ashley might be dangerous, and Ashley suddenly recalls the sensation of being strangled. Spencer advances on Marissa, and the girl is scared, but it's too late to do anything. Ashley finds a hammer in the pantry and tries to open the door. Spencer strangles Marissa, but she reaches for a bottle and hits him, managing to break free from his grip and ordering the smart home to dial 911. However, Spencer catches up with her and throws her to the floor just as Ashley breaks the lock and steps out of the room. She sees Spencer kill Marissa with a shard of the bottle, but just then Victoria's car pulls up to the house. Ashley hides in the lab and upon seeing Victoria's recordings, realizes what's been happening there. Victoria sees Marissa's body and hits her son. She reminds him that she asked him not to interact with the girl. Spencer explains that Marissa found out about Ashley and became a threat. Meanwhile, Ashley examines the VAT and turns on the monitor with announcements about her disappearance. Victoria sees the unanswered emergency calls and realizes the police are about to arrive. She orders her son to bring Ashley. Ashley is reading about a distinguishing mark of the missing person, an Ouroboros tattoo, and sees her clean hand. Spencer finds the empty room in the broken lock. He asks his mother to let him take the blame. Ashley watches the footage of her creation and cries. Victoria reminds her son that she's always on his side and orders him to throw Marissa into the biocomposter. She walks out into the hallway where Ashley meets her with a hammer, demanding to know who she is. Victoria screams that she gave her a better life, but Ashley remembers the pain and terror. She knows they've killed her many times, meaning they're monsters. Ashley raises the hammer, but shatters a cabinet instead. Spencer hears the noise and, abandoning Marissa, rushes into the house. He grabs Ashley, but the girl breaks free and runs outside. She hides in the dark, and when Spencer isn't expecting it, she attacks and kills him by smashing his head against the asphalt. That moment, the police arrive. Victoria rushes to her son's body, sobbing over him while Ashley is taken away by the police. Later, she destroys her son's photos and drawings, listening to Parker's words that she had anticipated this ending. The woman bids farewell to Parker, breaks the communication tablet, and re-watches footage of her young son. Meanwhile, the face of a clone of Spencer emerges from the black vat. Creators defied audience expectations by turning what could have been a banal horror film into a sci-fi thriller about cloning and the often utterly destructive power of maternal love.